Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most epic tales of all time. A story that has inspired people for thousands of years. The clash between David and Goliath. It's more than just a story about a boy and a giant. It's a powerful lesson about courage, faith, and where true strength really comes from. Picture this: the Valley of Elah. On one side, the entire army of Israel is camped, hearts heavy with fear. On the other, the mighty Philistine army, confident and menacing. And stepping out from their ranks is their champion, a man named Goliath. This guy wasn't just big. He was a walking mountain of a man, over 9 feet tall, decked out in heavy bronze armor from head to toe. His spear was like a weaver's beam, and its iron point alone weighed a staggering amount. For 40 days, every morning and every evening, Goliath would stride out and shout a challenge across the valley. He'd mock the Israelites and their God, daring them to send out a single man to fight him. "Choose a man and have him come down to me," he'd roar. "If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." But no one moved. Not a single soldier, not even the king, Saul, dared to face him. The entire army was paralyzed with terror. The sight of Goliath was enough to make the bravest warriors tremble. Their morale was shattered, and hope was fading fast. The situation seemed completely impossible. Meanwhile, far from the battlefield, a young shepherd boy named David was tending his father's sheep. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, and his 3 oldest were soldiers in King Saul's army. One day, his father, Jesse, calls him over. He tells David to take some roasted grain and 10 loaves of bread to his brothers and to check on how they're doing. He also gives him 10 cheeses to present to the commander of their unit. So David sets off, an obedient son on a simple errand. He arrives at the camp just as the army is going out to its battle positions, shouting the war cry. He finds his brothers, and while he's talking with them, something incredible happens. Out comes the champion, Goliath, shouting his usual defiant taunts. David hears it all. He sees the Israeli soldiers running away in great fear, and something inside him stirs. But it's not fear. It's righteous indignation. He turns to the men standing near him and asks, "What will be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" Notice his perspective. He doesn't see an unbeatable giant. He sees a man insulting God. His brothers, however, get angry with him. They accuse him of being arrogant and neglecting his duties with the sheep just to watch the battle. But David isn't deterred. He keeps asking, trying to understand why no one is standing up. His words eventually reach King Saul, who summons the young shepherd. Imagine the scene: the tall, weary king, and this young, energetic boy standing before him. Without hesitation, David says to Saul, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul looks at David, probably a mix of amusement and disbelief on his face. "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him," he says. "You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." Saul sees the obvious mismatch: a seasoned, gigantic warrior versus a boy who looks after sheep. But David has a response ready. He doesn't have a military record, but he has a record of faithfulness. He tells Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God." And then David delivers the key to his confidence. "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." David's courage wasn't in his own ability. It was rooted in his past experiences of God's faithfulness. He knew it wasn't him who killed the lion and the bear, but God who delivered him. And if God could do that, a giant was just another obstacle. Something in David's passionate faith convinces Saul. The king relents, saying, "Go, and the Lord be with you." Saul then tries to equip David for a conventional fight. He puts his own tunic on David, a coat of armor, and a bronze helmet. But David can barely move. He's not used to it. This isn't his way of fighting. "I cannot go in these," he says, "because I am not used to them." So, he takes them all off. Instead, David prepares in his own way. He walks down to the stream and picks out 5 smooth stones, placing them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag. With his staff in one hand and his trusty sling in the other, he approaches the Philistine. He chose his own weapons, the tools he had mastered, the ones God had blessed him to use. Goliath sees this young boy coming toward him with a stick and is deeply insulted. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he scoffs, and he curses David by his gods. "Come here," he bellows, "and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." But David's reply is one of the most powerful declarations of faith in history. He looks the giant straight in the eye and says, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down. And the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." The showdown begins. As Goliath moves in for the kill, David does something unexpected. He doesn't retreat. He runs quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag, he pulls out a stone, fits it into his sling, and with all his might, he lets it fly. The stone whistles through the air, a tiny projectile against a massive target, and it finds its mark. It strikes the Philistine right on the forehead, the only unprotected spot on his face. The stone sinks in, and the giant stumbles and falls, face down on the ground. The impossible has happened. The shepherd boy, with a simple stone and an unshakable faith, has defeated the invincible champion. David runs, stands over Goliath, and uses the giant's own sword to finish the job. When the Philistines see their hero is dead, they panic. They turn and run, and the Israelite army, their courage restored, roars to life and chases them down, winning a decisive victory. So what's the takeaway from this incredible story? It's a powerful reminder that our perception of a problem often determines its power over us. The Israelite army saw an unbeatable giant. David saw an opportunity for God to be glorified. They focused on the size of their enemy. David focused on the size of his God. This story teaches us that God doesn't need our strength, our armor, or our conventional weapons. He needs our faith and our willingness to step out. David used what he had, a sling, a few stones, and a whole lot of faith, and God used it to do something miraculous. Your giant might be a challenge at work, a personal struggle, or a fear that seems too big to overcome. But the lesson of David is that with faith, even the smallest person, equipped with the simplest tools, can topple the greatest of giants. Because the battle isn't ours, it's the Lord's. Thanks so much for joining me today for this amazing story. If it inspired you, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next video. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay courageous.